The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 34. Speaking of this, Lu Guang paused, and still mustered the courage to say, "But to tell you the truth, Regnar's wife is still very good. I think back then, she was also a famous beauty in the Suzhou area." Lu Ming hurriedly asked, "Is that the one who likes to cuckold Regnar, and even plans to wear 10,000? Yes, that's her." Lu Guang said with a look of fascination, "I really want to come with her once in my dreams. Let me also put a green hat on Regnar." Lu Ming said hurriedly, "Dad, I heard that she never refused to come. Would you like to take me too?" Lu Guang smiled and said, "Okay, let's go now. It's not 9 o'clock in the evening. I will drive faster. We can reach Suzhou at 12 o'clock, just enough to make Regnar's wife take good care of us. Come." Lu Ming also hurriedly smiled, "Then let's set off now." At this time, Charlie pressed the button to stop the video and nodded in satisfaction, "Yes, not bad. It seems that you two have a talent for talking about cross-talk. Okay, run away." Lu Guang was crying and asked, "Mr. Wade, are you sending this video?" "Yes." Charlie nodded, and said, "I will send this to TikTok immediately. Once your cross-talk is on TikTok, it is estimated that the whole network will become popular immediately." Lu Guang trembled in fright, and said, "Mr. Wade, can you post the video again later? If you do it now, the Wu family will come to chase us down soon." Charlie kicked Jones's who was like a dead dog, and said to Lu Guang, "Look at you, what are you afraid of? The Wu family brought all these bodyguards. Now they are all lying here. What can you do? Afraid? Are you afraid that Regnar and Roger will chase down you two in person? I think they may not be as good as your two. If the four of you fight, they must be the ones who suffer." Lu Guang thought about it. It seems that this is indeed the case. No one is available in the Wu family in Oris Hill. It takes time to transfer people from Suzhou. By then, he and his son will be gone. Lu Ming said to Lu Guang, "Dad, let's go back and pack our things, and then drive to East Cliff overnight and buy the earliest plane to fly to Malaysia tomorrow. If that's the case, the Wu family will definitely not be able to catch us." Lu Guang sighed and said, "This video of ours will offend the entire Wu family. I'm afraid they will chase us both around the world desperately with anger." Lu Ming shuddered, and said with some worry, "Dad, the Wu family shouldn't be too bad, right?" "No." Lu Guang sighed, "You don't know, Regnar loves his wife the most. We insulted his wife so much, I'm afraid." Charlie was too lazy to listen to the nonsense of the two of them here, and said lightly, "I'm going to upload the video right away. If you two of you want to run, run quickly. You can survive fast. Don't blame me if you run slow. Give you a chance to survive." Lu Guang recovered, and hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, we are leaving. We are leaving now." After finishing talking, he pulled Lu Ming and blurted out, "Come, go home and pack up, go to East Cliff overnight." Lu Ming was also afraid of being chased by the Wu family, and hurriedly nodded. Immediately afterwards, the father and son ran away nervously and embarrassedly. Looking at the backs of the two of them, Mr. Orville asked Charlie respectfully, "Mr. Wade, just let them go like this." Charlie nodded and said, "Don't worry, the two of them insulted the Wu family so much. The Wu family will definitely do their best to hunt them down. They may not be able to live long, even if they live long, they will be fearful for a lifetime." Charlie said with a smile, "Moreover, they will never have the courage to return to China in their entire lives, and they may not dare to return to the country for burial if they die. Otherwise, the descendants of the Wu family will definitely dig out their ashes." When the father and his son fled for their lives, Mr. Orville suddenly felt that Mr. Wade's punishment was very interesting. Without having to do it himself, the two men could be in a state of panic all day long. It can be said to be the best punishment for both of them. At this time, 5 bodyguards from Wu's family remained in the box. Mr. Orville asked, "Mr. Wade, how do you deal with these people? Do you think you killed them directly? Or," Charlie smacked his lips and said, "think about this, do you have any good ideas?" Looking at Jones Zizhu, who was like a dead dog, Mr. Orville was naturally very angry. He had never thought before that the Wu family would actually kill him. Today, thanks to Mr. Wade, he was able to take his life back. Otherwise, he would have already died under Jones Zizhu's hands. Therefore, Mr. Orville's hatred of the Wu family at this moment has reached its peak in an instant. He couldn't wait to slash the 5 people like Jones Zizhu. So he hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, it's better to leave these 5 people to me." Charlie asked curiously, "What do you plan to do?" Mr. Orville said coldly, "Take them all to the kennel, and let my dogs eat them all in 1 month." After that, Mr. Orville said again, "Tonight, let my dogs eat all the stuff in their crotch." When Jones Zizhu and other 5 people heard this, they all cried in shock. These killers and powerful masters who usually kill people are now scared to death. Jones Zizhu even cried out of breath, and pleaded bitterly, "Mr. Wade, Mr. Orville, I really know that I was wrong. Please show mercy the two of you, and spare my life." The other 4 people also pleaded and cried. Charlie looked at Orville at this time, and smiled unpredictably, "They are just a few dogs of the Wu family. Killing them is meaningless. For the Wu family, it doesn't matter how many people die." Another interesting way. Jones Zizhu and the other 5 people suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. In any case, when Charlie said this, his fortunes were saved. At this time, Orville hurriedly asked, "Mr. Wade, what kind of way would you like to change?" Charlie thought for a while and said, "Well, let's leave some calligraphy on their foreheads, let them go back, and show them to Regner." After speaking, he turned his head to look at the 5 people, and said in a cold voice, "Which of the 5 of you will be the first to come? I tell you, there is a discount for the first one. Increment by 1 word." Hearing this, Jones Zizhu thought of the tragic situation when Lu Guang was engraved with the words "Father of the Poor" just now, and he shook his heart, subconsciously wanting to continue begging for mercy. However, one of them, knowing that he could not escape this time, suddenly shouted, "Me! I am the first to come." Then someone shouted, "I am the second." "My third." "Me, I am fourth." The four of them are almost like setting off firecrackers, occupying the first to fourth in one breath. Jones's who has not spoken all this time, is only the fifth one. His expression was extremely depressed, and he almost wanted to commit suicide on the spot. The first person to engrave 4 characters, the second person 5 words, the third person engraved 6 characters, the fourth person engraved 7 characters, I'm the fifth, don't I have to engrave 8 characters? How can there be such a big place on the forehead? Jones's who suddenly cried, wiping his tears, and begged, Mr. Wade, please forgive me this time. From now on, I will wait on you before and after. Everything, I will listen to your instructions and be your dog. Charlie said calmly, you are not qualified to be my dog, but if you continue to talk so much nonsense, I will let Mr. Orville take you to the kennel and feed his dog. He will do what I say. If you don't believe it, try another sentence. Jones's who suddenly closed his mouth in fright. He was really afraid of Charlie. Since Charlie said so, he doesn't care about letting a bullshit, for fear that Charlie will really kill him. At this time, Mr. Orville picked up the dagger from the ground, walked to the person who raised his hand first, and asked, Mr. Wade, what is the first to carve? Charlie thought for a while and said, you have to be concise and concise. How can you be concise and concise? After thinking for a moment, Charlie blurted out, if you have it, just make Roger beep. The man was about to cry. If the 4 characters Roger Silly Beep are engraved on one's forehead, the eldest master can't kill him alive? However, he didn't dare to refuse halfway at this time, because now he has no right to refuse. If he dares to say a word, he might irritate Charlie and be sent to the kennel to feed the dog. Okay. Mr. Orville readily agreed, holding a dagger, and engraving 4 deep words on this person's face, Roger Silly Beep. The man's face was dripping with blood, and the 4 big characters on his face and forehead made the other 4 people feel chilling. After carving, Mr. Orville pulled out the second person who signed up and asked Charlie, Mr. Wade, what about this person? Charlie thought about it and said with a smile, this time it's 5 words, so let's engrave what she likes to eat shit. Orville nodded, and immediately carved his own human calligraphy on the second person's forehead. At this time, Jones's who found that the number of words really increased as he went on, so he hurriedly shouted, Great Mr. Orville! I'm the third, I'm the third! Don't grab anyone! Orville gave a sneer and asked, where is your arrogant energy? Why is it like this now? What's the difference between it and a dog which eats food? Jones's who hurriedly pleaded, Great Mr. Orville, you regard me as a dog, so please engrave it for me first. Charlie frowned, went up and kicked Jones's who directly, and said coldly, you guy are really unscrupulous. The 4 of them are little brothers who were born to die with you. You want to cheat them in the face of disaster. Jones's who was kicked far away, crying and said, Mr. Wade, I am a timid and fearful lord, so please be kind and let the Master Orville engrave it for me first. Charlie said coldly, stop the nonsense with me, you are the last. Beep more with me, and just engrave a list of teachers on your face. Mr. Orville smiled and said, Mr. Wade, the teachers' list is very long, I am afraid that on the face it will not be carved. As he said, Mr. Orville recited and counted with his fingers, and said, "The first emperor has not started his own business, but the middle way has collapsed. Today is 3 points, Zizhu is exhausted, oh, this is almost full." "The face is full," Charlie waved his hand indifferently, and said, "There is no engraving on his face and a neck, no neck is engraved, and his body. If it's a big deal, he will engrave all the places where love can be engraved on his body and let him see more often." Seeing the teacher's table and memorizing the teacher's table more often, it can be regarded as learning his loyalty and righteousness. Jones Zizhu was frightened immediately, and hurriedly cried and pleaded, "Mr. Wade! Mr. Wade, I was wrong. I dare not beep any more. You are right. I am the last one. I won't say a word. Honestly waiting." Jones Zizhu shut up, and Mr. Orville pulled the third person who had volunteered before him, and asked Charlie, "Mr. Wade, what to engrave on his head?" Charlie replied, "Roger is gay." Mr. Orville nodded and waved his big hand. 6 bloody big characters were engraved on the man's forehead in Chinese. Immediately afterwards, it was the 4th. Mr. Orville said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, it's 7 words this time." "Yet." Charlie thought for a while and said, "Then Regner is incompetent." Mr. Orville couldn't help but laughed and said, "Mr. Wade, why is the bird incompetent? Shouldn't it be S3X? Charlie waved his hand. "S3X is a sensitive word. You can't use it indiscriminately. If you let the girls see it, they will blush." Immediately afterwards, Mr. Orville finished the calligraphy of the 4th person's body. The last one left is Jones Zizhu. Jones Zizhu looked at the blood on his 4 little brothers' heads and faces, and was frightened. He is a very arrogant person. He has always been strong and unmatched, which gave him the best illusion in the world. The more he has this illusion, the more serious the burden of idols. However, he really didn't dare to say a word of bullshit at this time, otherwise, he was really afraid that Charlie would let Orville engrave on him as a teacher. Not to mention carving out the teacher's table, even if it is a song, he can't stand it. So he could only silently tremble and cry, waiting for the moment when his fame is destroyed. At this moment, Jones Zizhu had only one wish in his heart, that is, Charlie must not let Mr. Orville engrave 2 vulgar sentences for himself. However, he did not understand Charlie. The more this time, the more Charlie likes to be vulgar. Holding a bloody knife, Mr. Orville pointed to Jones Zizhu, who was pale, and asked, "Mr. Wade?" Charlie thought for a while and said, "Isn't these 8 characters? Be casual, close to the people, and grounded at that moment." After speaking, Charlie said again, "In this way, I'll poop to Roger for him to eat." Jones Zizhu felt ashamed when he heard these words. Mr. Orville hurriedly asked, "Mr. Wade, is it wrong? Wu Chi, not Roger, likes to eat shit." Charlie waved his hand casually and said, "Oh, it's the same. Anyway, he wants to show Regner and Roger when he goes back. It's better to carve Roger. Come." Mr. Orville nodded immediately and said, "Then I will engrave him, a bit bigger and a bit deeper." Jones Zizhu looked at the bloody tip of the knife and cried, "Great Mr. Orville, great Mr. Orville! I beg you to do one thing." Mr. Orville said impatiently, "Why are you so much nonsense?" Jones Zizhu cried and said, "Great Mr. Orville, I just want you to change the knife. This knife has been carved from Lu Guang, and it has been carved by 5 people. It is not disinfected. It is easy to get sick. In case anyone has AIDS or something, isn't that going to lead to a cross-infection?" When Jones Zizhu said this, the other 4 people trembled with fright. One of them blurted out and asked, "Are you 3 free of AIDS?" "No." The other 3 shook their heads. But whether it is true or not, no one knows. Orville was also a little annoyed at this time, and slapped Jones Zizhu's face with a slap, and cursed, "Just your bullshit, if you don't believe it, I will give you a preface to the King of Teng." Jones Zizhu was drawn to observe at Venus. At this time, he really didn't dare to beep any more, so he could only cry while enduring Mr. Orville's sharp blade. He could feel the sensation of the tip of the knife cutting the skin on his forehead and touching the skull. The sharp pain made him almost faint, and the blood was constantly dripping from his forehead, even making him unable to open his eyes at all. He had to regret at this moment in his heart. He knew that today, no matter how much Regner gave, he would not be able to kill Mr. Orville. Unfortunately, in this world, there is no regret medicine to take. At this time, Regner's 5 bodyguards all became human calligraphy works, and all 5 faces were terrible. Especially the last Jones Zizhu was carved with 8 characters directly, and his forehead was not enough, so he borrowed the place of his face. The whole face looked terrifying. Moreover, the words engraved on their faces are all insults to the Wu family, and it is estimated that the Wu family will see their lungs explode. Jones Zizhu cried and asked, "Mr. Wade, can you let us go?" Charlie said, "Of course I can let it go, but in order to prevent you people from continuing to help the gang, I have to teach you a lesson." After all, Charlie grabbed the person in front of him, smashed his 2 arms with 2 punches, and with the remaining people did the same. In the blink of an eye, all of these people's arms were scrapped. In the future, wanting to be a bodyguard, a killer, and a thug is absolutely useless. No one will hire such a disabled person as a bodyguard. Therefore, it is certainly impossible for them to continue to harm society in the future. The 5 of them had been tortured at this time and looked uncomfortable, and it felt that even if they were caught in the temple of Yama, they would feel more comfortable than here. Charlie is too human. His method of torture is simply unheard of. At this time, Charlie stood up with satisfaction and said coldly, "You 5, go back and bring words to Regner and Roger. If they want to target me, just let them go, but if they dare to involve rest of the people around me, then I will make the entire Wu family an example." The 5 people struggled to get up with their legs and ran out of Classic Mansion in a very embarrassing manner. After the 5 people fled, Mr. Orville asked Charlie, "Mr. Wade, Lu Guang, Lu Ming's cross-talk video, what are you going to do with it? Do you want to upload it on YouTube now?" Charlie waved his hand and said with a smile, "Don't worry, wait a while, let Lu Guang and Lu Ming run for a while, or it will be seen by the Wu family as soon as I let go, and the Wu family will offer a reward. Their lives, then they may not survive tomorrow morning and have to report to Hades." Mr. Orville hurriedly said, "Isn't it better to die? These 2 people should have died a long time ago as dogs with Wu's family." Charlie smiled and said, "If you didn't make this video, it would naturally be the most worry-free killing them, but since the video has been filmed, it would naturally make them live the most worried, because they only need to live. Wu family will be laughed at by the people all over the country, and will be immersed in the pain of humiliation and anger all day long, unable to extricate themselves. Therefore, Lu Guang and Lu Ming have to be kept alive. They are alive. This is interesting. Mr. Orville nodded immediately and said, I understand, Mr. Wade. After that, Mr. Orville asked again, Mr. Wade, what about Regner and Roger? Charlie looked at the time and said, I guess these 5 people will go to Regner to complain and complain now, but Regner is a very dogged person. If the situation is wrong, he will definitely run away, maybe even overnight. Take Roger back to Suzhou. Mr. Orville blurted out, Mr. Wade, then we have to find a way, we can't let the tiger go back to the mountain. Charlie smiled slightly and said, it's okay to let the tigers go back to the mountain. After all, the Wu family is more than these 2 tigers. Let them go back first to bring out more tigers. The best way is to find an opportunity to kill them all at once. Speaking of this, Charlie asked Mr. Orville, have you heard a word? Mr. Orville hurriedly asked, Mr. Wade, what are you talking about? Charlie smiled and said, a family, it just needs to be neat and tidy. Jacob has been in the corner, silently watching his son-in-law turn things around and kill all quarters, and he is extremely shocked. He didn't understand why Charlie had such a strong strength and such a strong aura. This is totally 2 extremes from Charlie, who is usually called a rag by Elaine at home. At this time, Charlie stepped forward to him and asked, Dad, are you okay? Jacob hurriedly shook his head and said, I am okay, it's okay, oh, fortunately you came in time, otherwise I will be miserable. Charlie smiled slightly and said, Dad, you are fine. I have already taught these people, are you satisfied? Satisfied and satisfied. Jacob nodded as if pounding garlic, and then said a little worried, Charlie, were you a bit too cruel just now? That Wu family won't come to avenge you, right? Charlie smiled and said, when dealing with Wu family, you can't be afraid of their revenge. If you don't provoke him, he will kill you. Then instead of doing this, it's better to do it with him, what do you think? Jacob said embarrassingly, that's right, but I'm just worried. They bit us hard. We don't have the money or the big business as of their family. If we really do it, we might want lose. Charlie waved his hand, Dad, don't worry, I will protect Claire, as well as ensure the safety of you and Mom. Don't worry about that. Jacob nodded. Charlie said again, by the way, Dad, in order not to worry Claire and Mom about this matter, we must not tell them both when we go back. That's that. How dare Jacob say, if Elaine knew about such a big thing, she wouldn't try to fry him. She must be upset at home. Charlie relaxed. The only thing he's afraid of is that the old master can't keep his mouth shut and tell what happened today. But he seemed scared enough to follow his words, guess this matter can be stabilized. Charlie immediately said to Orville, Mr. Orville, find more subordinates to accompany you these days, and by the way, find some subordinates to protect my family members secretly, don't take it lightly. Mr. Orville nodded immediately, Mr. Wade, please rest assured, I will make arrangements. Yeah. Charlie smiled slightly, Okay, I will take father-in-law home. Now that the matter is resolved, we should also go back. After finishing speaking, he said to Jacob, Dad, shall we go? Okay, okay. Jacob nodded hurriedly. He just wants to go home quickly and digest the whole bunch of things that just happened. When Charlie took the old man home, Lu Guang and his son were at home like bandits, frantically tossing and cleaning the gold and silver at home. Lu Ming's mother hadn't figured out what was going on. Seeing that her husband was also engraved with words on his forehead, and it was the 4 characters of the father of the poor, she hurried forward to ask. Lu Guang blurted out, Don't ask so much, we are in a big disaster now, and we must pack our things quickly. We must leave Oris Hill tonight, otherwise we may die without a place to bury. Ah! Lu Ming's mother hurriedly asked, Where are we going? Go to Malaysia. Lu Guang said, Go to my brother, and never return to China again. What? Lu Ming's mother collapsed instantly and cried out, Why are you going to Malaysia suddenly? I can't come back later? What about my parents? What about my brothers and sisters? Lu Guang questioned, You don't want your life anymore? Give it back to your parents. Your parents are doing well in Oris Hill. Now the trouble is that our family of 3 will die. Maybe your parents will come to give it to you. The 3 of us, to collect the corpses. Hurry up and pack things. When Lu Ming's mother heard this, she didn't dare to say more. She knew the situation was serious, so she hurriedly started to pack her things. Lu Guang asked Lu Ming at this time, Look at the situation on YouTube, has our video been sent by Charlie? Lu Ming opened his hands and said, My phone is at Charlie's. Charlie used my phone to take pictures. Lu Guang hurriedly took out his mobile phone, threw it to Lu Ming, and said, Hurry up and check it. Lu Ming took the phone and immediately started downloading and installing the app. After swiping a few videos on YouTube, he found that there was no crosstalk between himself and his father. He was a little relieved and said, Charlie probably hasn't posted yet. That's good. Lu Guang nodded and said, Let's not delay, go quickly. Let's leave in half an hour. After finishing speaking, he told his wife, Don't bring anything you can't finish with. Call your mother back and ask her to help us sell everything for cash, and then take it to the black market and exchange it into dollars. When we get to Malaysia, the renminbi will not work well, so we have to use the U.S.D. His wife nodded quickly, I'll call her later, because she has our spare key. At this moment, Jones Zizhu and other 5 broken arms have returned to Shangri-La Hotel. All 5 of them had no arms and could not drive a car, so they could only hit 2 cars. When taking a taxi, a lot of drivers didn't dare to pull it when they saw them, and ran away in a hurry. After all, these 5 guys are too scary, one by one, bloody and scornful, and more importantly, there are words engraved on their heads. This is absolutely abnormal. Later, Jones Zizhu was in a hurry. He promised 10 for the road and gave 10,000, and then he stopped a rental car. After stopping, the 5 people squeezed in. The driver hurriedly said, Oh, my car can take up to 5 people with the driver and passengers. You have one more. Let's get another one. Jones Zizhu said angrily, what is so much nonsense? I am giving you 10,000, can't you get one more? As soon as the driver heard this, he had no choice but to bear it, nodded and said, then you sit behind the four squeeze, don't close the door. 4 people desperately squeezed in the back row. Joneses, who sat in the passenger seat and said with a gloomy expression, go to the Shangri-La Hotel, drive faster. The driver subconsciously said, 5, if you are injured like this, why not go to the hospital first? If you talk, I will kill you. Joneses, who looked upset. The driver shrank his neck in shock. The other younger brothers couldn't help saying, brother, let's go to the hospital first, at least stop the bleeding and see if the shoulder can be saved, save me. Joneses, who said with an extremely gloomy expression, no matter how good the orthopedic doctor is, it is impossible to cure us. We have to let the Wu family and his son know that we are abolished because of them, and they have to give everything they say. A resettlement fee. In addition, we have to let them know how much Charlie looked down on him and how much he insulted him. Only in this way can he kill Charlie at all costs and avenge us. Another person asked, brother, if they see these words on our foreheads, if they are seen by Mr. Regner and young Mr. Roger, will they not be angry with us? How is it possible? Joneses, who said, these are all made by Charlie for attacking Orville, who are wronged and debts are in charge. He can understand the situation. Car to the door of Shangri-La. The 5 couldn't even open the door. The Shangri-La waiters themselves saw the rental, and rarely took the initiative to open the door for the guests who took the rental. When they saw the rental, they deliberately used it as air, so they didn't come forward. There was a moment of silence in the car, and Joneses, who could only shout to the driver, you are blind? Don't you know to help open the door? The driver was a little annoyed and said, then you pay the fare first, 10,000, you said yes. Joneses, who said, you help me drive the door, and you take it from my pocket after getting out of the car. My arm is injured and I can't move. The driver got out of the car and helped them open the door. Immediately afterwards, 5 people with blood all over their heads finally got out of the car. They were covered in bruises and scribbled characters on their foreheads, so they looked very scary and very eye-catching. Therefore, when they appeared, they immediately attracted the attention of everyone around them, and what's more, they subconsciously made a harsh laugh. What's the matter with these people? They actually have lettering on their foreheads. Are they doing performance art? Ha ha ha, it's really funny, it's so funny. Yes, I have lived for most of my life, and I have seen many artists, some pretending to be beggars begging on the street, and some who use a needle to draw ink and paint on paper. I have never seen such a wonderful work, and have carved it. The characters are ugly. This situation and this scene really opened my eyes. In my opinion, these people and the rich second generation who grabbed shit on YouTube some time ago have a good fight. Dude, you reminded me of this. I have to quickly take a picture and post it on YouTube, so that netizens all over the country will come and see these wonderful works of Oris Hill. By then, the number of hits will not reach millions. Yes, right, right. Everyone hurry up and take pictures. After passing this village, there will be no more shop. While talking, someone took out their mobile phone, turned on live stream, clicked on the video to shoot, and directly posted the desolate appearance of Jones Zizhu and others to the internet. Seeing everyone holding their cell phones to snap at him, Jones Zizhu suddenly became angry. He wanted to reach out to cover his forehead, but his arms were all gone, and he couldn't raise it at all. He was so annoyed that he could only blurt out, "What are you shooting? Get out!" Everyone shuddered by his ferocious appearance, and they didn't want to be familiar with this kind of mad dog. Only then did they choose to stop with unfinished intentions, and hid far away. Jones Zizhu was satisfied when he saw such a scene, and immediately took his people into the Shangri-La Hotel. The driver hurriedly stopped him. Hey, you have not given me the 10,000 you promised." Jones Zizhu observed at him coldly, and said angrily, "I'll give it to your mother." After speaking, he lifted his foot and kicked him out with one kick. Although both hands have been abolished, and the foundation of years of hard training has also been abolished, but it is not a problem for Jones Zizhu to beat a taxi driver. After he kicked over, he immediately said to the 4 people around him, "Kick him to death." The 4 people rushed up immediately, kicking the taxi driver. When the Shangri-La security captain saw this, he immediately led the team and rushed over, stopped them, and said coldly, "You people, don't make trouble at Shangri-La's door, or don't blame me for being impolite." Jones Zizhu knew that Isaac, the boss of Shangri-La, had a strong background, so he hurriedly stopped the people around him, and said to the driver, "Fortune telling you today, please be careful in the future, or you will be killed." After speaking, they entered Shangri-La. As soon as they were about to enter, the security guards immediately reached out to stop them, and the lobby manager hurriedly came over and said, "Sorry, gentlemen, you are indecently dressed and poorly groomed. According to regulations, you cannot enter our Shangri-La hotel." Hearing this, Jones Zizhu calmed down and said with disdain, "We are from the Wu family of Regner, you, a little manager, dare to stop me." The lobby manager frowned and said with a strong attitude, "This gentleman, I don't care if you are from the Wu family or someone from another family. According to the regulations, you are not allowed to enter Shangri-La." After speaking, he said coldly, "Your faces have already scared our guests and affected the reputation of our hotel. Please leave immediately, otherwise, you will be at your own risk." Jones Zizhu's heart was raging, and he said coldly, "I will give you the face of President Isaac and will not beat you, but if you continue to find uncomfortable, then don't blame me for being rude to you." The lobby manager did not back down and blurted out, "I'm sorry, the rules are the rules, you can't enter Shangri-La." Jones Zizhu gritted his teeth. Not to mention a lobby manager, even if the security team all come up, it is impossible to be the opponent of their 5 useless people. Everyone can take this group of people down with the work of their legs. However, the other party is Isaac's dog, which is a bit tricky. If Isaac is offended, wouldn't it be worth the loss? At this moment, their noises attracted the attention of many people in the lobby. Many people were watching them whispering, and Jones Zizhu listened carefully, only to realize that these people were actually discussing what characters were carved on their foreheads. He was immediately embarrassed and unwilling to stay here to be watched, so he said to the lobby manager with a black face, "I will give you 3 seconds, give me, otherwise, don't blame if I'm not polite to you." The lobby manager also had a bit of temper, and immediately shouted to the security captain, "Captain Jones, these people have seriously affected the image of Shangri-La, kick them all out." Jones, who was furious and cursed, "Shame on your face, beat me." After speaking, he rushed forward first, kicked the lobby manager to the ground with one kick, and immediately vomited blood from his kick. Jones, who vomited bloody sputum on his face, cursing, "If you don't know whether you live or die, dare to talk more, believe it or not, I will just destroy you." The lobby manager endured the huge pain in his body, and ordered several security guards behind him, "Shoot out all these guys who dare to make trouble in Shangri-La." But with this order, before a few security guards could react, unexpectedly, the other 4 bodyguards of Wu's family rushed forward, and they went crazy in an instant. This group of people suffered a lot in front of Charlie, and they were already holding back the fire. Suddenly, there was an object of exasperation. They had completely lost their minds and vented wildly to this group of people. They just wanted to put the group in front of them. People were killed to relieve the hatred in the heart. Although Charlie had their hands severed, they were from a strongly trained family. Their legs and knees could cause great damage to these security guards. Therefore, with just one move, all these weak security guards were overthrown to the ground, causing the opponent to lose combat effectiveness. Seeing that these people were dying, and if they continued to fight, they would definitely be dead. Jones, who asked everyone to stop the attack and said coldly, "A bunch of dogs that don't have long eyes slap their mouths, and they dare to fight against Wu family guards. Don't look at what virtue you are." After speaking, he took the elevator directly with people and went upstairs. After the 5 Joneses who left, the scene was in a mess. Shangri-La's lobby manager and several security guards were all injured lying on the ground, their noses and faces swollen, looking very miserable. A security guard struggled to get up and hurriedly helped the lobby manager from the ground, and couldn't help but ask, "Manager, what should we do now?" The lobby manager said with a cold face, "You quickly take other people to the hospital, I will find Mr. Charlie. If you dare to make trouble in Shangri-La, I still don't believe Mr. Charlie will let him go." With that said, he limped to Isaac's office. At this time, Regner and Roger, the father and son, were staying in the presidential suite of the Shangri-La Hotel, patiently waiting for Jones-Zhu and others to return. A few dozen minutes ago, Regner also received a message from Lu Guang, saying that he had arrived at Classic Mansion and subdued Orville. Not only that, but he also found an unexpected surprise. Charlie's wasteful old master was also dining in Classic Mansion. This made Regner very happy. He felt that just taking advantage of this opportunity, he would kill Charlie's father-in-law first. But now, seeing that time has passed by almost an hour, Lu Guang has not reported any progress to him, which makes Regner aware that something is wrong. He called Lu Guang but no one answered, and he called Jones-Zhu again, but no one answered. Actually, the mobile phone is in Jones-Zhu's pocket, but both of his arms are useless, and there is no way to get the mobile phone out of his pocket. The other 4 people are the same, and there is nothing they can do at this time. If only the fingers were scrapped, it would be nice to still be able to control the phone by sliding the belly of the fingers with the drooping fingers, but now, the whole arm can't use any strength, it's a complete mess. Regner couldn't get through Jones-Zhu's phone, and he couldn't help feeling a little nervous. Jones's strength is very strong. He hasn't met an opponent so far, so he can't plant on him, right? Roger frowned and couldn't help but say to his father Regner, "Dad, Lu Guang's situation, no one has given us any reply up to now. Did Jones Zizhu and the others have an accident?" Regner shook his head and said confidently, "Impossible, Jones Zizhu and the others are all practicers. They are powerful. Looking at the whole Oris Hill, it is impossible for anyone to be their opponent." As he was talking, he took out his phone again and called Jones Zizhu. Immediately afterwards, he heard a cell phone ringing outside the corridor. While he was still wondering, he heard the doorbell ring. It was a little brother of Jones Zizhu, who pressed the doorbell with his forehead. When Roger heard the doorbell ring, he blurted out, "It is estimated that someone has returned." After finishing speaking, he hurried to the door, opened the door and was stunned for a moment. Regner paced over slowly at this time, still smiling and saying, "What are you talking about? With Mr. Orville's insignificant role, how can he beat Jones Zizhu?" After finishing speaking, he did not forget to say to his son who was in a daze at the door, and said with earnest words, "You, don't rush and mess up your position. You must be calm when you become a big thing. You have to think about this in the future. Don't you?" Roger swallowed his saliva, pointed at the 5 ghost-like people outside the door with horror, and said blankly, "Dad, come and take a look." "What are you looking at?" Regner said indifferently, "Have they come back from Classic? What are they still standing outside the door? Don't let them come in and tell me in detail about the process of killing Mr. Orville." When Roger heard this, he took a step back subconsciously to make room. Jones Zizhu and the 5 people gathered up their courage, shook their 2 broken arms, and walked in with their heads downcast and dejected. When Regner saw the 5 people coming in, he was shocked and stunned. The teacup in his hand was suddenly unsteady, and he dropped to the ground. He looked at 5 ghost-like people, and said dumbfounded, You, what's the matter? What happened to your foreheads? Why is it all blood? This. How does it happen? It looks like it was written by someone." As several of them kept their heads down, it was difficult for Regner to make out the words on their foreheads. Jones Zizhu immediately took a step forward, thumped, and knelt in front of Regner, and said in fear, "Mr. Regner, I was not able to do things well, please punish me." Seeing these people in such a horrible situation, Regner's heart shook, his face changed suddenly, and he asked, "You can tell me clearly, what happened?" Jones Zizhu knelt on the ground, bowed his head and cried, "Mr. Regner, we went to help Lu Guang deal with Orville as ordered by the young master. Today in Classic Mansion, we had already controlled Orville and even caught Jacob, Charlie's old father-in-law, but who expected that Charlie suddenly rushed in." Speaking of this, he wept bitterly and said, "Mr. Orville, that Charlie's strength is too strong, not to mention that I am not his opponent. Even the 5 of us can't help beat him at all. However, not only did we all have our arms scrapped by him, but he also engraved words on our foreheads." Regner was struck by lightning. "Better than Jones Zizhu? Is that still a human?" He trembled with disbelief on his face and said, "Even you are not Charlie's opponents? That rubbish is so strong." As he said, he thought of engraving, and hurriedly asked, "Engraving? What kind of words? Look up, let me see." Jones Zizhu and the others hesitated for a while, but didn't dare to defy Regnar's orders. They could only raise their heads with a grey face. That expression was even more tragic than the dead family. Regnar and his son observed at these people's foreheads, and suddenly became furious. Roger beep. Wu Chi loves to eat shit. Roger is gay. Regnar is incompetent. I want to poop to Roger to eat. They looked at these extremely humiliating words, their faces turned green. Regnar has lived for most of his life. He has seen all kinds of punishment methods, and he has even seen many corpses who died tragically, but he has never seen such a scene. This is cruel. Engrave on someone's forehead, and the engraved words are still so full of humiliation. This really makes people feel a tingling scalp and chills in the limbs. Regnar was panicked and angry, and questioned, "This is all done by the waste Charlie." Jones Zizhu knelt on the ground and said, "It was the calligraphy that he asked Orville to make, and he also asked me to bring you a message, saying that if you want to target him, just go for him, but if you dare to involve people around him, then he will let Wu family never recover." After Roger heard this, he couldn't help but furious, gritted his teeth and said, "Dad, Charlie alone would dare to let my Wu family be overwhelmed. What a big tone! How can you be worthy of the Wu family's face if you don't kill him?" Regnar's expression was a bit cold, and he said, "Do you think it is easy to kill him? These 5 people have been completely abandoned. You and I, the father and son, are in Oris Hill. Now there is not even a bodyguard. If Charlie comes to the door, can we resist?" Just now, Roger, who was pretending to be forced to kill Charlie, turned pale in shock and said, "Dad, let's run now." Regnar glared at him, and said in dissatisfaction, "What are you panicking? This is Shangri-La. I don't believe that East Cliff Wade family's property, that waste dare to kill here. If he really dares to come, then East Cliff Wade family will never let him go." At this moment, the lobby manager, who was kicked half dead by Jones Zizhu, with the support of several employees, staggered to the door of Isaac's office. Knocking on the office door, as soon as the lobby manager entered, Isaac saw that he was completely injured, and blurted out, "Manager, what's the matter?" Manager said indignantly, "Mr. Charlie, some bodyguards from Regnar Wu's family dared to break into our hotel and fight me and some security guards in the lobby." "What?" Isaac frowned and blurted out, "What's the matter? Both the Wu family and his son live in our presidential suite, and their bodyguards also live in it. Why did they break into the hotel to fight?" Manager hurriedly explained, "It's like this. A few of them seemed to have just had a fight with someone outside. They were covered in blood, their arms were broken, and their foreheads were carved with a knife. The face is full of blood, it looks like filth. Doesn't our hotel always have a request to not allow guests with disheveled clothes to enter, so I stopped them." Isaac frowned. He had also heard of Wu's bodyguard. It is said that the strength is very extraordinary. These 5 people, in Oris Hill, even Isaac's own bodyguards may not be their opponents. Therefore, when Isaac heard that their arms and foreheads were engraved on them, he was stunned. He couldn't figure out, when did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon start in places like Oris Hill? Is there such a master who can abolish all the 5 bodyguards of the Wu family? What kind of perverted power must this be? Thinking of this, he said to manager, "This matter is a bit weird, don't worry, I'll call someone to check it." Isaac had many eyes and ears in Oris Hill. He quickly picked up his mobile phone, dialed a number, and said in a cold voice, "Check it out now, the bodyguard of Wu's family from Suzhou, what did they do in Oris Hill tonight? Within 5 minutes, I want to know all results." 3 minutes later, Isaac's phone rang. Hearing the words on the other end of the phone, Isaac was struck by lightning. It turned out that the bodyguard of the Wu family went to Classic Mansion tonight and wanted to punish Mr. Orville, but unexpectedly, they were defeated by his young master Charlie. The 5 masters of the Wu family were actually defeated by the young master? Oh my God, Mr. Wade has such a powerful strength? Isaac was terrified. Immediately, a strong anger surged in his heart. Wu family, so bold. Mr. Orville had been with the young master for a long time, and he was considered half of the Wade family. How dare the Wu family come to Oris Hill to punish Mr. Orville, and even clashed with his own young master. They are tired of life, right? Moreover, after this group of people went to punish Mr. Orville and was beaten to death by his young master, they were so arrogant that they beat the lobby manager of Shangri-La? What is going to offend the Wade family to death? Thinking of this, Isaac was furious. He even gave the father and son face back and let them live in the presidential suite in Shangri-La. If the young master knew about it, what if the crime came down? The angry Isaac almost wished to rush to the presidential suite where the Wu family and his son are located, and break the legs of these 2 dogs. However, when he thought that the young master was also involved, he didn't dare to call the shots without authorization, so he immediately called Charlie. When the phone was connected, Charlie had just stopped the car. After the old master got off the car, Charlie said to him, "Dad, I will pick up the phone and follow you." Jacob nodded and said, "You can pick it up, I'll smoke a cigarette outside and wait for you." Charlie nodded. The old master went to smoke, and he sat in the car to answer the phone. As soon as the phone was connected, Isaac hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, I heard that you have a conflict with Wu's bodyguard." Charlie gave a hum, and said, "Your information is quite timely." Isaac hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, I also heard that these 5 people are making trouble in Shangri-La, and I found out after finding someone to check." With that said, Isaac explained what happened after the 5 Joneses who went to Shangri-La. After listening to Charlie, he said coldly, "These 5 dogs, I didn't expect that dogs can't change their poop. I thought they could learn to be honest and low-key, but I didn't expect them to have both arms and legs troubled." Isaac hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, now the Wu family man and his son are also in Shangri-La, what do you want to do with them? You only need to give an order and do so immediately." Charlie smiled slightly and said, "In this way, you go to their room first and interrupt the legs of these 5 dogs. I want to see they have all their hands and feet gone. What else will they do to cause trouble?" Isaac blurted out, "Okay, master. What else do you want?" Charlie said again, "There are also Regner and Roger. I don't plan to kill them for the time being, but I can't make them go so easily. You can help me to interrupt one of them and drive them out of Oris Hill." "Okay." Isaac said immediately, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will do this wisely. After speaking, Isaac asked again, by the way, Mr. Wade, do you want me to tell them clearly so that they know what kind of existence they provoke? No, Charlie said indifferently, if I let them know my true identity, they will probably be completely persuaded. That would be boring. After speaking, Charlie said again, remember, you need to teach them this time. It is completely because the Wu family bodyguards made trouble in Shangri-La and ruined Wade family's face. Isaac said immediately, I understand, Mr. Wade. Well, you understand, just do it. In the presidential suite at this time, Regner was darkened, looking at the 5 dead dogs in front of him. On the one hand, he hated the waste of these 5 people, even if they could not handle a waste like Charlie. On the other hand, he hated the words engraved on the heads of these 5 people. It's a complete insult to the Wu family. He shouted to Jones Zizhu in a cold voice, I will arrange for someone to perform cosmetic surgery on you, cut off all the skin on your forehead, take skin from other parts of your body and transplant it, and then you should be able to remove these words. Jones Zizhu nodded hurriedly, and said with a trembling, Thank you, Mr. Regner. Regner used to have some respect for Jones Zizhu, but now he is not pleasing to the eye. So, he said coldly, I will transfer a group of new bodyguards from the family, and then you can disband on the spot. Disbanded on the spot. Jones Zizhu blurted out, Mr. Regner, are you trying to fire us? Regner frowned and asked, otherwise? I'll keep you as a bodyguard? Can you still be a bodyguard like this? Jones Zizhu blurted out, Mr. Regner, our 5 brothers have been with you for so long, and we have killed many people, prevented a lot of disasters, and suffered a lot of injuries for you. Today, all 5 of us were abandoned by Charlie. This all happened while fulfilling your orders. How can you leave us at this time and let us disband on the spot? Regner asked in return, why? If you don't dissolve, do you still want me to provide for you? As he said, Regner said in disgust, don't tell me these useless things. I will give you 500,000 severance pay at that time. If you know how to raise money, you can get out of it. If you don't know how to raise money, don't blame me for being rude then. Although Regner is a billionaire, he is not a generous person. In other words, in his eyes, the money that should not be spent is not spent anymore. For example, Jones Zizhu and these 5 wastes. The bodyguard with his broken hand can't even open the door of his mother's car. What are they going to do? Their wages are ridiculously high, and if they continue to be kept, they can only be charity and provide them with old age benefits. Therefore, they should be driven away as soon as possible at this time. The further you go, the better. Regner actually didn't want to pay 500,000 severance pay. Therefore, he felt that he was already very generous. However, Jones Zizhu certainly didn't think so. He's a useless person now. What is the concept of waste? In this life, it is tantamount to being an armless person. Armless people eat, drink, and sleep. Why don't they need someone to take care of? In the next few decades, there will be more places to spend money. They were so badly injured because of the Wu family. At this time, the Wu family fell into trouble. Wouldn't it be their life they have to pay for? Thinking of this, Jones Zizhu felt resentful. However, he didn't dare to do anything to Regner. Because the Wu family is too strong, 5 of the brothers have been scrapped, and dozens of bodyguards may come in a blink of an eye. He is already a useless person. When the time comes, he will face the Wu family. Get killed? Jones who really wanted to cry without tears at this time. Why didn't he notice that Regner turned out? The subordinates said that they kicked, and the ministers in the arms completely ignored him. He was simply a beast with no heart and liver. At this moment, the door of the presidential suite was suddenly opened. The waiter used the universal room card to open the door of the presidential suite. Then, Isaac walked in with dozens of personal bodyguards with a cold face. Regner didn't expect the door to be opened suddenly, but he was shocked when he saw Isaac walked in slowly with unspeakable anger and indifference. Behind him, in addition to following manager who was beaten by Jones who before, there were also dozens of strong bodyguards in suits. Seeing Isaac's sudden appearance, Regner felt confused, but he didn't dare to neglect. He hurriedly put away his face full of anger, and smiled. Isaac, why are you here? Unexpectedly, Isaac said with a cold face and angrily said, Regner, you are so brave. Do you know that Shangri-La is an industry under the name of the Wade family? Regner's expression suddenly stunned, and he couldn't help but wonder, is this Isaac taking the wrong gun pill? He was still chatting and laughing with him before, so why didn't he have too much effort in the conference, so he changed into such an inhumane face? Or even call him a dog? However, no matter how unhappy he was, he knew that he could not offend Isaac. Therefore, Regner hurriedly said respectfully, Mr. Charlie, of course I know that Shangri-La is the industry of the Wade family. To be honest, my admiration for the Wade family is really like a surging river, and I hope I can rely on you. Get acquainted with the Wade family, and I will serve the Wade family in the future. Isaac looked at Regner, raised his hand and slapped him severely, then kicked him to the ground. Regner screamed, and fell to the ground in pain, with panic in his heart. Roger, who was next to him, subconsciously rebuked angrily, Hey, why are you hitting my dad? Isaac strode to him and hit his nose with a punch. He was covered with blood and yelled, Your dad has to be respectful in front of me. What are you? Dare to talk to me like this? Tired of living? Believe it or not, I will kill you now. You're looking for death. Roger grew up so old and had never suffered from a hit, so he ate twice today. First Charlie scrapped one of his own hands, and then Isaac smashed his nose with a punch. He was spoiled and arrogant since he was a child. How could he ever suffer such a crime? So angrily roared, Do you think that you are the Wade family's dog? That's great. My Wu family is the first family in the south of the Yangtze River. It will kill you every minute. As soon as Roger's voice fell, Regner rushed over, slapped his face with a slap, and angrily cursed, How do you talk to Mr. Charlie? Don't you hurry up to Mr. Charlie. Kneel down and admit your mistakes. Regner was shocked by Roger at this time. He couldn't think that his own son was so useless, he couldn't even tell the situation. Even if Isaac was just the Wade family's dog, the Wade family standing behind them. What does the Wade family exist? One of the top 3 families in the country. In terms of financial resources, the Wu family may not be 1/10 the Wade family. Because the Wade family is a trillion-level family, but whether it is 1 trillion or 9 trillion, no one can figure out. After all, a behemoth like the Wade family can never be seen through by ordinary people. When it comes to power and status, the Wade family is far more numerous than the Wu family. Therefore, even if Isaac kills the two of them now, the Wu family will definitely not dare to bullshit. Even his own father, Mr. Orville, might not even care about holding a funeral for himself, so he first went to East Cliff and pleaded guilty to Wade's family. Roger even dared to scold Isaac at this time. Isn't this looking for death? After Roger was slapped with this slap, he realized that he had caused a catastrophe. Apart from anything else, he immediately knelt in front of Isaac in fear, kowtow, and begged for mercy. "I'm sorry, President Isaac. I was impulsive." After speaking, he snapped his big mouth back and forth. Isaac went up and kicked him in the chest. After kicking him down, he went up and stepped on his face, and said coldly, "Big boy, I have offended the Wade family. Believe it or not, I made your Wu family extinct." Roger's face was swollen just now, and now Isaac stepped on his face. He couldn't speak clearly, but he could only insist on saying, "Isaac, I'm really wrong. You beat me and scolded me. Anyway, please don't be like me." Seeing that his son was beaten like this, Regner felt distressed and couldn't help asking, "Mr. Isaac, Mr. Charlie, I have my heartfelt respect for you. If you are dissatisfied with us, please tell me. If someone who really did something wrong, I am willing to be punished, but you have to make me understand." Mr. Charlie sneered, and said, "Your heartfelt respect? You respect me, so let these silly dog bodyguards of your Wu family rush into my Shangri-La lobby. In my Shangri-La lobby, they hurt my Shangri-La people. Then if you don't respect me, will you even call me?" Regner was struck by lightning. What? His bodyguard actually beat Isaac's men in the lobby of Shangri-La? Which thing with no eyesight did this? Thinking of this, Regner's icy eyes fell on Jones Zizhu and the others. Needless to say, he also knows that it must be one of these 5 people who caused the catastrophe. Regner was extremely angry, staring at the 5 people kneeling on the ground, and asked coldly, "Who did it? Or did the 5 of you do it together?" Feeling the killing intent in Regner's eyes, Jones Zizhu was shocked. He hurriedly said, "Mr. Regner, it's not us to blame. We have already explained to the security guard at the door and the lobby manager and said we are Wu's people. But they insisted that our manners were disordered and that we were not allowed to come in. I was anxious to return to you, so I broke into the hotel and clashed with them." Hearing this, Regner suddenly became angry. He slapped on the face and cursed, "It's really a bunch of rubbish. Can Shangri-La also be something you can break through? He kept saying that you should return to life. If you do it again, it is also called life. Give you such a small thing. I couldn't handle it well, and it caused me great trouble. What is the use of raising you?" As he said, he immediately said to Isaac, "Mr. Isaac, these 5 wastes ran into you, and wanted to kill you." In fact, Regner couldn't wait for Isaac to drag these 5 people away and kill them. There are 5 wastes anyway, and leaving them in the world will only waste his own money. Isaac also knew Regner's wishful thinking, and said coldly, "Regner, are you the boss? If you don't help your little brother, you will sell your own people if something happens. Your Wu family's work is really true. Too low level, isn't it? If it's spread out, how do you Wu family still mix? Regner was suddenly shocked. What does Isaac mean? He has already handed over all the 5 people who caused trouble for him. He still holds on to him? However, he dared not yell at Isaac, so he could only suppress the soaring anger in his heart, walked to Isaac's body, and apologized, "Mr. Isaac, this matter is my fault. I apologize to you." After speaking, he said again, "In order to express my apologies, I am willing to spend 10 million for the medical expenses and mental damage expenses of the injured staff. I hope you can forgive the Wu family for this mistake. What do you think?" In his opinion, although Isaac is the spokesperson of the Wade family in Oris Hill, after all, he is also the second-generation heir of the Wu family somehow, and he also paid out 10 million as compensation. No matter what, the other party will not be, because this trivial matter will cause conflict and disharmony with the Wu family, right? Unexpectedly, Isaac's face was still cold at this time, and said, "Do you think that my dignified East Cliff Wade family cares about 10 million? According to your statement, I will now let people beat you father and son into a rubbish. And give another 20 million to your father who is far away in Suzhou. After that this matter is over, do you agree?" As soon as these words came out, Regner's expression was so ugly. He never expected that Isaac would be so stubborn. The few of his own non-eyed subordinates just beat a lobby manager in a small area. What's the big deal? Moreover, the other party didn't suffer multiple injuries. Isaac had to chat with him here for this? With Isaac's tough attitude, if someone else came over, Regner would have let him be broken into pieces. Throughout Oris Hill, the second-generation heir to the dignified Wu family, when did he suffer such grievances? But having said that, he never dared to offend Isaac. After all, he was the spokesperson of the Wade family in Oris Hill. As the second-generation heir of the Wu family, once there is a conflict with Isaac, it means that the Wu family is directly provoking the authority of the Wade family. In this way, it will definitely bring great trouble to the whole family. Once East Cliff Wades asks the guilt, and fights for it, the Wu family is bound to fall into an abyss that cannot be restored. Therefore, he could only endure the anger deep in his heart and did not immediately break out. He was very aware of the current affairs and smiled and said, "Mr. Isaac, I said the wrong thing. I apologize to you. I hope you won't remember the villain." After speaking, he licked his face and said, "Mr. Charlie, how do you want to solve this matter today? As long as you give a solution, we will do everything you can to do the way you said." Isaac smiled coldly in his heart, and secretly said in his heart that this second-generation heir of the Wu family is quite capable of bending and stretching, and sure enough. However, today they provoke his own young master. It is really impossible for him to come around. Had it not been for the command of the young master, Isaac would have waited to cut them off immediately. He snorted coldly and said, "I'm sorry, I don't accept your apology, nor will the East Cliff Wade family accept it." Regner held back his anger and asked in a low voice, "Mr. Isaac, how do you want to solve it?" Isaac said coldly, "Your 5 men injured the leg of my men, they will pay with legs. I want to abolish all the legs of these 5 people. As soon as these words came out, Regner immediately said without hesitation, "No problem. Since President Isaac has spoken, these 5 people's legs will be at your disposal." As soon as Jones Zizhu heard this, he suddenly collapsed and shouted, "Regner! You can't be like this, right? The 5 of us have already had our arms destroyed. If our legs are destroyed, what is the difference with the living dead?" Regner scolded coldly, "Your arms were scrapped because you were inferior to human skills, and your legs are scrapped because you offended President Isaac. This is all your fault, you deserve it." "You," Jones Zizhu roared angrily, "Regner, you are an old tortoise. If I knew you had such a face, I Jones Zizhu should screw your head off." Regner was furious and said to Isaac, "Mr. Charlie, you see, for this kind of thing, you break their legs, it is all kind of grace to them. Such people should be killed directly." Isaac smiled playfully and said, "They were damned originally, but I saw the carved calligraphy on their foreheads, and felt that the 5 of them had to live well to be worthy of the artwork on their foreheads." Regner's face suddenly became a little ugly. The foreheads of these 5 people were all engraved with words that insulted the Wu family. Isaac actually said that these words are works of art. Isn't that an insult to the Wu family? However, he dared not pretend to force Isaac, so can only laugh with him and say, "Since Mr. Isaac, you think they are meant to be alive, please interrupt their legs and let them be useless persons forever." Isaac nodded playfully, and said to his men, "Come on, first interrupt these 5 dogs' legs for me." Regner breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that Isaac can calm down his anger this time. However, he felt wrong again in an instant. Isaac just said, "First interrupt the legs of these 5 dogs? Why is it first? Is there anything behind?" Before Regner had figured out what Isaac's remark meant, Isaac's men had already moved. His subordinates are also top masters, but if you really talk about strength, no one may be better than Jones Zizhu. However, Jones Zizhu is now half a dead dog, and it may be okay to deal with ordinary people, but dealing with premium man is simply a waste. Therefore, facing Isaac's men, he has no opportunity to refute or resist. Charlie had already planned his destiny in advance. Jones Zizhu's heart was extremely desperate and dead. He never dreamed that he would end up like this. If his legs are also abolished, wouldn't he be completely cold in this life? At that time, he will be with a broken arm and leg, lying on the bed, unable to move, and not even capable of taking care of himself. At this time, Isaac's men stepped forward to Jones Zizhu and the others, and the first one started with Jones Zizhu. The man said coldly to some of his men, "Hold his legs for me." Several men immediately stepped forward and pressed Jones Zizhu's legs to the ground. Immediately afterwards, the man took out a finger tiger made of pure steel from his arms, put it on his hand, and slammed it against Jones Zizhu's right knee. The whole knee was suddenly broken into slag. Jones Zizhu suddenly felt a piercing pain, and kept wailing. But this is only halfway through. The other party then slammed on the knee of his other leg again, and with a click, the knee cracked. Afterwards, this person kept abandoning all the legs of these 5 bodyguards. There was a wailing in the living room of the presidential suite. Regner's complexion did not change the slightest. These 5 people, he couldn't wait to kill them directly, so he didn't care about their current fate. He only cared, is Isaac satisfied? If not satisfied, what else would he want? So he asked Isaac, Mr. Isaac, I don't know the result now, are you still satisfied? Isaac said coldly, of course not satisfied. Regner trembled all over, and hurriedly asked, Mr. Isaac, how can you be satisfied? Isaac looked at him with a cold expression in his eyes. It's very simple, I want you and your son to give a leg. What? Regner looked startled and blurted out, Mr. Charlie, are you kidding too much? Isaac squinted his eyes and asked him, which one of your eyes saw me joking with you? Regner stepped back involuntarily in fright, and blurted out in a panic, Mr. Isaac, the person under your hand has had a little conflict because of a little misunderstanding, why should you take this seriously? As he said, he lowered his posture and said in a humble tone, if Wu did not do well in any way, please make it clear that Wu will make all efforts to correct it. You don't need to continue to hold on to it. It hurts the harmony between our two families, right? Isaac said coldly, only your Wu family is worthy to talk to the Wade family about peace? Are you not a bullshit? After all, Isaac sternly shouted, if you want to survive, just let me get rid of a leg, otherwise, no one can save you today. Regner trembled in shock. This Isaac is going to be real. Want his leg now? What a joke! He is the eldest son of the Wu family and the second-generation heir of the Wu family. In the whole Oris Hill, he can be said to be under one person and over 10,000 people, and the only person above him is his own self. The Wu family is strong throughout Oris Hill, and it is always the Wu family bullying others. When has it been bullied by others? This Isaac rushed in and beat him up with his son, but for the Wade family's face, he could bear it. However, he actually wants to break the legs of his and his son, how can he accept it? If this were to be spread out, wouldn't the Wu family be discredited? Thinking of this, he plucked up courage and shouted sharply, Isaac! Don't go too far! Do you think you are a member of the Wade family? You are just a subordinate of the Wade family. Who gave you the courage to let you dare against my Wu family? Even if my Wu family is not as strong as the Wade family, it is still the first family in the south of the Yangtze River. I don't believe that the Wade family will let you indulge like this. Isaac smiled playfully, do you want to know who gave me the courage? I'm sorry, it was Mr. Wade. If it was normal, he was just a spokesperson for the Wade family, and he really didn't dare to directly conflict with the Wu family on behalf of the Wade family, let alone interrupt the legs of Wu's parents and grandson. However, today's decision was not made by himself, but by his young master. If his young master said he wanted to kill the Wu family man and his son, he would immediately follow suit, and the Wade family would definitely support the protection. Therefore, Isaac has no scruples at all. Regner and his son were stunned. Is Mr. Wade going to deal with him? However, when did he offend Mr. Wade? I doesn't even know Mr. Wade. At this moment, if they were killed, they couldn't believe that Charlie, the well-known rubbish son in Oris Hill, was actually the young master of the Wade family. Regner said in a panic, Mr. Isaac, is there any misunderstanding in this? When did we offend Mr. Wade? Isaac was too lazy to explain to them, sneered, and said to the people around him, First discard that small leg. Then discard the old one. As soon as the voice fell, the man in black around him rushed to Roger. Roger was scared. He was pressed to the ground by the man in black and shouted, "Dad! Hurry up and help Dad! Dad, help me!" Regner was trembling even at his teeth. He thought that Shangri-La was the safest place, but he didn't expect it to be the real wolf den. This Isaac, relying on being a member of the Wade family, is confident. What can he do now? Beg for mercy? He doesn't buy it at all. Show your identity? He doesn't care at all. Go head to head with him? Is there anyone else available around? Thinking of this, his heart was completely ashes. He knew that he could not save his son. He can't even save himself now. At this moment, the black man wearing a finger tiger's punch suddenly fell. After the click, Roger howled sadly like a slaughtered pig. His right leg is useless. The right hand and right leg are all dead at this time. Moreover, the injury of the right leg is too serious, and there is no possibility of recovery. In other words, in the future, he, the dignified eldest son of the Wu family, will become a lame ridiculed by others. Roger burst into tears immediately. How could this be? Why is this happening? What kind of place is Oris Hill? Why does it feel that this small city is full of devastating demons? Regner was heartbroken. The one he loves most is the eldest son. After all, the eldest son will inherit his mantle in the future, and he has always been a focus of training. Unexpectedly, he turned out to be a disabled person now. And his second son is still that shit-swallowing beast that eats shit every hour. Why is his destiny so miserable? At this time, Isaac pointed to Regner, who was indignant in his heart, and said to the black man, "Come on, this old guy." Regner snorted in his heart, his legs softened involuntarily, and he knelt on the ground with a thump. Isaac looked at him who was kneeling, and laughed coldly. "Oh, Mr. Regner, why are you kneeling? Kneeling, also have to break your leg." Regner collapsed. He knew that he was already powerless. When he came to Oris Hill this time, instead of detecting the murderer of the younger son, he got in with his elder son's legs. Isaac's subordinates walked to the front in 3 or 2 steps, grabbed his right leg, fists up and down. Regner felt an extremely strong pain in his knee, and the pain almost made him faint. He gritted his teeth and tried to stop himself from screaming, but the severe pain only made him endure for less than 10 seconds, and then he let out a cry, crying. Isaac looked at all this coldly, and snorted disdainfully, "Wu family, for whatever, you dare to stray wild on the Wade family's site. This is a little punishment for you. If you dare to touch Wade family again, Wade family will definitely destroy your Wu family mansion." Isaac's words are loud and clear. Especially the last 6 words, "destroy your Wu family." It was even scared that Regner twitched violently. What happened? What exactly happened here? Why does the Wade family want to target him so much? If he wanted to kneel and lick the Wade family, he couldn't find a chance. Why would the Wade family hate him for being a shareholder and would punish him so he can't figure it out, totally can't figure it out? He can only attribute all this to Joneses and guards who fought in Shangri-La. It seems that Wade's Majesty really does not tolerate any form of trampling, even if it is just making trouble in the Wade family's property and beating Wade family's insignificant subordinates, they will also be punished by the Wade family. Regner hates this Joneses who crazy. Blame him. It was him who killed him, so he and his son were also implicated. At this moment, he could not wait to rush over and choke this Joneses who alive. Moreover, his heart was really moved to kill. He knew that he couldn't kill people on Isaac's territory, but he had made up his mind. After leaving Shangri-La, he immediately called and asked the family to send some masters over to kill Joneses and his 4 brothers directly, leaving them dead. At this time, Isaac said coldly, "I will give you 10 minutes to get out of Shangri-La. If you are still in Shangri-La after 10 minutes, I hope you two will also interrupt the other leg." Regner trembled all over, and hurriedly said with sincerity and fear, "Mr. Isaac, we'll go now, we'll go." After speaking, he jumped to his son's side, reached out to help him, tearful, and comforted, "Son, let's go back to Suzhou. Dad must find the best orthopedic doctor to treat your leg." Roger also cried in a mess. With the help of his father, he got up with difficulty and cried and said, "Dad, can my legs be cured?" "Yes, it will definitely be possible." Regner also knew that the knee has been completely shattered, and there is almost no possibility of cure. Even if all the artificial joints are replaced, there will be serious sequelae in the future. Even if it is not a lame, it is a lame man. It is absolutely impossible to restore the appearance of a normal person. However, he cannot hit his son that way. He is still young after all. So, he didn't dare to pack things anymore, and supported each other with his son, and walked to the door of the presidential suite. At this time, Isaac suddenly smiled and said, "Hold on." Regner trembled all over, turned around, and asked nervously, "Mr. Isaac, what do you want to say?" Isaac pointed to Joneses and other 5 people lying on the ground, and said coldly, "You two, drag out these 5 dead dogs, don't dirty my Shangri-La place." Regner was anxious, almost vomiting blood. After a while, he came back to his senses and blurted out, "Mr. Charlie, these 5 people have nothing to do with the Wu family anymore, you can do what you want to do at will. You want to kill or smash them, it is up to you." Isaac said coldly, "Did you forget what I just said? These 5 people have works of art on their foreheads. You take them back to Wu's house, wait on them and let them live well, and you must not let them die. Let alone remove the artwork on their foreheads, understand, artwork." Regner looked at Joneses and the 5 of them with resentment. Every word on the forehead of these 5 people was like a sharp knife, slamming his heart. Now, Isaac actually asked him to take these 5 people home to serve? This is really too humiliating. However, he did not dare to have the slightest temper. What can't humiliate him? What should be received, still have to be received. It seems that at the moment he can only deal with himself first, taking these 5 people away and taking them back to Suzhou, and then let them evaporate. Just as thinking about this, Isaac said again, "Yes, I forgot to remind you, these 5 people are to be taken home, you must take good care of them, and you will send them to Oris Hill by special plane every once in a while for my inspection. I want the life of one of your sons. If 2 of these people die, I want the life of a pair of your sons. if 3 people die, your dog's life is mine. Regnar's body trembled violently with anger. This is shit riding on the neck. What exactly does Isaac have against Wu family? Why does he want to humiliate him in such an extremely insulting way? However, how dare he say a word to Isaac? So he could only cry and nod. Mr. Charlie, what you say is what I do. Isaac was satisfied and said coldly, okay, you two, get out with them behind your back. Regnar begged, Mr. Isaac, I broke my leg, my son also broke his leg, and he also broke his hand earlier today. We too are disabled people, how can we carry these 5 people on our backs? Please forgive us, or please arrange some of your subordinates to help us carry them out, Isaac asked coldly, if you don't carry them. Don't leave if you don't carry it. I will interrupt your hands and feet. The 7 of you are lying here together waiting for the Wu family to pick you up. Roger suddenly collapsed and cried, Mr. Isaac, how did we make you unhappy? Please give us a good time, don't torture me and my dad, I'll kowtow to you. With that, Roger, who had broken his leg, knelt on the ground with difficulty and kept kowtow with one hand supporting it. He is really scared. What is the top luxury Shangri-La? This is simply purgatory on earth. He just want to escape now, escape back to Suzhou, escape back to own home, then lock himself up and lick the wound alone. What happened today is really humiliating, and he will not even want to go out to meet people in the next few years. Isaac didn't buy anything for his kneeling and kowtow, and said coldly, well, I have already said, either you two will get them away, or you will become such dead dogs just like them. There are only 2 roads, choose your own. Regnar hurriedly and humbly pleaded, Mr. Charlie, don't be angry, we will get them all out, even if it is crawling, we will drag all 5 of them out. With Regnar's complete compromise, the injured and lame father and son can only lean down with a grey face and tried their best to prepare to carry Jones Zizhu and others out of the Shangri-La Hotel. However, the 2 had already become disabled, and Roger was even more miserable, having broken hands and feet, so carrying these 5 profuse sweats was simply extremely difficult. The father and son took the lead in dragging Jones Zizhu out, and every time they took a step, they both panted with exhaustion. Not only were they tired, but the leg that was broken was even more painful. However, neither of them dared to yell at this time, so they could only grit their teeth and persist. Isaac hugged his shoulders, as if watching a good show, watching the father and son exert all their energy, and drag the 5 people to the square outside Shangri-La Hotel one after another. Regnar slumped on the ground tiredly and raised his hand to wipe off his sweat. Then he asked Isaac, Mr. Charlie, are you satisfied now? Isaac nodded and said coldly, but you took too long. I let you do it in 10 minutes. How about you? It took an hour. I'm really sorry, Regnar said humiliatingly, the legs and feet are indeed inconvenient. It is a waste of your precious time. Isaac snorted, and said, you know it. Afterwards, he said sharply, this square at the entrance is also my site for Shangri-La. Hurry up and let people come and pick you up. If I come out later, if I see you are still there, I will break your other leg. After Isaac finished speaking, he turned and left the scene. The father and son were left almost desperate. Roger cried and asked Regnar at this time, Dad, what shall we do now? I want to go back to Suzhou, and I don't want to stay in Oris Hill anymore. Regner gritted his teeth and said, I will call your grandfather now and ask him to send a helicopter over to take us back. In fact, Regner had already broken his heart in Oris Hill. At this time, he just wanted to go back and treat his legs quickly. So Regner immediately called his father, and on the phone, he complained to his father about what happened here. After listening to this, Mr. Wu became furious. The Wade family is really deceiving people too much. His eldest son and eldest grandson had both broken their legs, and it was fake that Mr. Wu was not angry. However, after getting angry, he sighed again and said, Wait, I will contact the General Aviation Company in Oris Hill, and hurry up to rent a helicopter to pick you up. Regner also knew that even if his father regained his energy, there would be no way to do this. After all, the Wu family could only be regarded as ants in front of the Wade family, without any strength to compete with it. A few minutes later, the old master called and told Regner, the helicopter has been found. It will be there to pick you up in 15 minutes. Great, Regner even choked up. He has never suffered such a big humiliation in his life. Now he is like a child who has been wronged outside, just thinking about being able to go home sooner. After hanging up the phone, he said to Roger, Your grandpa has arranged a helicopter, and it will be there in 15 minutes. When Roger heard this, he cried in excitement. Regner hugged him, and the father and son cried together. The 5 Joneses who lying on the ground also felt very complicated. They are sad, because they are now completely useless, and may never have the chance to stand up. But they were also very fortunate. Fortunately, Isaac came forward and asked the Wu family to take care of them and send them to be inspected by Isaac regularly. This also means that he will not be retaliated by the Wu family and will not be killed by them. On the contrary, he will be raised by the Wu family. Thinking about it this way, at least the future life will still have a fall, otherwise, with Regner's character, he will definitely kill them immediately. At this moment, Wu Qi, who had been at Regner's home, suddenly called Regner. At this time, he had just finished eating and had just regained his senses. Regardless of the stench in his mouth, he hurriedly called his father Regner. Regner didn't expect the younger son to call him. After all, he has been very depressed during this period of time. Every time he finishes eating, he wants to die and commit suicide. The whole person is very decadent. No one wants to see or talk. Don't know why he is calling him at this time? Could it be that he heard about what happened to his eldest son and called to comfort me? Thinking of this, Regner felt somewhat relieved. But after the call was connected, he heard Wu Qi's extremely flustered voice, Dad. It's not good. Grandpa had a heart attack just now. What? Regner blurted out, What's the matter? When I was talking on the phone with your grandpa just now, his voice sounded fine. Wu Qi said, Just now, a friend of my grandfather called and asked him to watch a video on YouTube, and I showed it to him. As a result, he suffered a heart attack after watching it. Now the medical team at home is trying to rescue him. Fortunately, there is no danger to life YouTube video. What video? Regner said anxiously, What kind of YouTube is the old master watching? Is he scared by the horror videos above? No, Wu Qi blurted out, there is a pair of father and son with lettering on their foreheads. They said that a crosstalk was sent to YouTube. Crosstalk. Regner didn't understand even more. Then he suddenly asked, what did you just say, lettering on forehead? Yes. Wu Qi said hurriedly. They introduced themselves, and said one was called Lu Guang and the other was Lu Ming. Regner is even more surprised. What happened to these two father and son? Yes indeed. When he saw that Jones Zizhu and the others had become useless and had their foreheads engraved on them, he was shocked that they were not enough, and completely forgot about Lu Guang and his son. Where did these two go? Said the crosstalk went? So, he asked in amazement, what did these two talk about crosstalk? How could you have your grandpa's heart attack? Wu Qi said, he probably watched a little bit. Their crosstalk is all about scolding our family. The scolding is really terrible. They not only tease me about eating shit, they also tease you and my brother. With my mother and my grandpa. Regner was furious, and scolded, the father and son are guilty of having a bear heart and a leopard. Dare to take our Wu family for fun. After speaking, he immediately said to Roger, quickly open YouTube and search for Lu Guang Lu Ming's crosstalk video. Roger was very surprised. He didn't know why his father wanted to watch YouTube suddenly, let alone why Lu Guang, Lu Ming would talk about crosstalk on YouTube. However, he obediently took out his phone, turned on YouTube, searched Lu Guang and Lu Ming, and suddenly came out with a video that had been liked more than 1,000,000 times. He subconsciously clicked on it, and the voices of Lu Guang, Lu Ming came out. Regner also hurried over to listen. It didn't matter if he heard it, the expressions of the father and son were getting more and more ugly. Halfway through hearing this, Regner hated him, and almost wanted to take a knife himself and cut Lu Guang, Lu Ming thousands of times. Do not. Thousands of knives can't solve the hatred in his heart. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.